The morning sun washed over the glass towers of Caldwell District, warm and bright, almost too bright for someone like Damien Hale, who carried the weight of the world on his tired shoulders. A single father with bills stacked like walls around him, he pushed open the revolving doors of Stratus Innovations, clutching his worn-out laptop bag and praying silently that today's repair job wouldn't be another dead end. His daughter, 12-year-old Lila, depended on every penny he earned. He had no room for mistakes. But he never imagined that a simple computer repair would drag him into the heart of a woman's loneliness, a secret buried behind a reputation of cold authority, and a question that would shake him more than any line of code ever could. And it all began the moment he accidentally opened the CEO's private photo. If you believe in kindness, hope, and second chances, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Grandma's Book. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories to life. Damien was escorted to the top floor by a nervous intern who whispered about the CEO as if mentioning a ghost. Aria Caldwell, 38, brilliant, intimidating, with a presence that made even board members sit straighter. Rumors claimed she was ruthless, heartless, too perfect to be real. But Damien never cared about gossip. He just wanted to finish the job quickly and pick up Lila from school on time. When he entered Aria's corner office, sunlight flooded the marble floors, reflecting off the skyline like shards of diamonds. Her computer sat on a sleek desk, its black screen glaring at him like a silent challenge. The problem was simple: system freeze, corrupted files, unstable boot. Nothing he couldn't handle. But 30 minutes into the repair, while trying to recover damaged folders, a single image flashed on screen, a candid photograph of Aria, standing alone on a quiet beach in simple day clothes, her hair tied back, no makeup, no authority, just a woman who looked tired, sad, human. Damien instantly clicked away, embarrassed and apologizing in his mind for accidentally trespassing into something so personal. But the image lingered in his thoughts like a soft echo he couldn't silence. When Aria walked into the office, the air shifted. She carried the cool confidence of someone used to controlling every outcome, every detail. But as she approached the desk, Damien sensed something else beneath her polished exterior: an invisible heaviness. She glanced at the recovered files, noticed the timestamp, and in a tone meant to sound neutral but cracked with vulnerability, she asked a question he never expected. She asked if he had seen the photo. And without waiting for an answer, she followed with a whisper that felt more like a confession than curiosity: "Am I pretty?" Damien froze, stunned not by the question but by the quiet desperation wrapped inside it. He realized instantly that this wasn't vanity. It was pain, the kind worn by someone admired by millions yet loved by none. Someone surrounded by people but starved for sincerity. But he didn't speak, he didn't dare. Instead, he kept his eyes on the computer, his silence offering respect rather than avoidance. And in that moment, Aria understood his response: not words, but dignity. They talked quietly afterward, not in conversation but through small exchanges, each discovering the other's truth. Damien learned she had built her empire from scratch, losing friends, trust, and even her sense of self along the way. The beach photo was taken by her late mother on the last peaceful day of her childhood, the only time she ever felt unjudged. Aria learned about Lila, about Damien's fear of failing her, about the nights he stayed awake repairing old devices to pay rent. Their worlds were different, yet their struggles carried the same ache. Days passed, and Aria began requesting Damien for every tech repair, even tiny ones that didn't need fixing. The office staff whispered again, but Aria ignored them. She found comfort in his presence, his genuine sincerity, his grounded nature. And though Damien tried to keep his heart steady, he couldn't deny how something in him softened whenever she spoke, not like a CEO, but like a woman rediscovering pieces of herself she had forgotten. One afternoon, she asked to meet Lila, wanting to understand the girl who fueled Damien's strength. And the moment she saw Lila's shy smile and worn backpack, something inside her shifted even more. She began inviting them both to company family events, weekend tech expos, small daytime gatherings where Damien helped employees while Lila explored the offices like they were a glittering world. But the real turning point came the day Damien was offered a permanent position, a steady income, benefits, stability, everything he'd been fighting for. Aria handed him the contract, her fingers trembling slightly. She wasn't just giving him a job, she was giving him a lifeline. For a moment he feared accepting would blur lines they weren't ready to cross, but Aria's expression held nothing but sincerity. She wanted him to feel safe. The story didn't turn into a love confession or a fairy tale ending. Instead, it became something more meaningful, two people healing, slowly, gently, understanding that connection doesn't need grand declarations. It needs honesty, respect, quiet presence. Arya began smiling more, Damien began breathing easier, and Lila began believing that life could still be kind near the year's end. While sunlight streamed through the office windows, Arya placed the same beach photo, now restored and framed, on her desk. She thanked Damien not just for fixing her computer, but for restoring something deeper, the courage to see herself beyond titles and expectations, and Damien, standing beside her, realized she had given him the same gift.